it's looking back that every second you wake up in the morning, you've got that first second in the morning where you wake up, and in that split second that you wake up in the morning, you notice that it comes in 100 miles an hour, and it's trying to get you. It's trying to get in there, that first position in the morning. It does that. And I always used to be like, oh my God, if I can just break this cycle in that first second, then I'll be better, which was a load of crap, because that's the worst time to try and break the cycle, in the first second of the morning. Because trying to do that is pretty much impossible, because you're trying to fight it at the time it's coming in the most, and it's not about that. It's about allowing it to come in, not trying to fight it, not trying to get rid of it, not trying to force it away, which was exactly the thing that I was doing that was wrong all the time, trying to force, trying to get rid of, trying to force, trying to get rid of, which is what was keeping me stuck the whole time, because I was doing that so hard. So the OCD recovery journey, it is a journey that you've got to look at as, this is going to be a process that I'm going through for my life that's going to empower my life. Today, all the work that I do and everything that I'm planning on doing comes from that journey, right? But if I wasn't working with OCD, it would be empowering my life in another area, because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about getting the most out of life. I view our life as, most people are sort of not even woken up to how short it is, and not woken up to this all eternity, this blink of an eye, bang. So we've got to bloody go for it. And that's what I'm like. And I am that sort of, intense, going for it kind of character, because that's how I like to live, and I enjoy that, and I enjoy the ride of it all, and that's how I want to be. I try and go out with a bang, really going for it, and that's the attitude I've always had. But no, although I had that attitude, I didn't have it with OCD, because I was locked up in compulsions. I was trying to stay safe. I was trying to avoid all the anxiety. I was trying to avoid all the sensations. I was staying stuck. I was doing a lot of things that I shouldn't do. So it wasn't like that. I had that go for it kind of attitude, that drive, but there was a lot of times that was wavering, because I used to think, I'd have traded anything for getting rid of OCD. If you'd said to me, trade everything, even your arms, for OCD, I'd have given them on some days. I would have given them in a heartbeat. If someone said you can trade your arms for OCD, I would have given them in a heartbeat, right? Because I just wanted that peace. If I thought, if you couldn't have peace, you couldn't sit on the couch and just relax even for a second, what kind of life do you have? That's what I used to think. That's how I was viewing it. And I was trying to grab back days and hours of life. So if someone invited me on holiday, I was like, how anxious am I today? Have I got one good day on holiday back? Right, that's 2 good days, 3 good days, 4 good days, 5 good days, trying to sort of bank all these days. And that was a disaster, because that was like a controlling pattern to try and get everything controlled, so that I couldn't be stuck, that I got back my life, and I would not lose any more days to the so-called lost years, which I was so frustrated about OCD sort of taking so much from me, that I was so concerned about losing more years. So I was desperate to not lose any more time, which was a disaster. Again, I had to accept all of that and be at peace with that. It's very hot here today. Now that would be another sensation that I would have felt in the past with OCD. Oh, it's too hot. Maybe I'll get dizzy. Maybe I'll pass out. Maybe your health's gonna decline. Every single thing that it could get into, it would go for. That's what it did. That was the nature of it. And so at one point I was like, the recovery journey is tons of stages, tons of shifts in perception that happened everywhere. Some of them happened reading a book, some of them happened on the computer, some of them happened disputing irrational beliefs in paper, some of them happened when I was standing at a nightclub bar just looking at life and thinking about things. Some of them happened at a concert, some of them happened when I was in a car going down the road, some of them happened in the sea, some of them happened at every situation where I was thinking about life and sort of looking at life philosophies and changing things. But one of the biggest shifts, came on the worst day, when I was feeling like, this is shit, this couldn't get any fucking worse. This is the language I was saying in my head. I was saying, this couldn't be any fucking worse. This is the worst I've had. This is as bad as it can get. Nothing can get worse. And then I said, you know what, this is really bad at the moment. And you know what, this is as bad as it can feel right now. So this is it. This is it. What are you afraid of? What can't you go and have? What can't you do with these feelings? Can it throw at you anymore? I'm not doing any more compulsions. I am doing whatever it takes. That attitude where I was so fed up, because compulsions can go on for years. Some people do them for 25 years. I was like, no, I want to change this. I want to get rid of these compulsions. I want to go for this recovery. This has got to be the way. This is the only way. And And I realized that, and I saw that, and I thought, okay, now we've got to work on recovery, really properly go for it, and we've got to, nothing as scary as the illusion. This is all illusions. I was reading a lot of philosophy at the time, a lot of Stoicism at the time, and I started to think, I've got to break through this. There are people who aren't scared. There's people in hospital beds. There's people on death row that aren't scared. Why am I so damn scared? And that's where I started to break through those things and make real shifts. And that was about everything in my life. My whole life changed like that. My whole life is based on the philosophies I live. I try and live how I want to live, how I dream to live in my mind. I try and live. So if anything that I do not like, anything I think that I really want to improve, I'm thinking, how can I do that? Anything I want to do, I'm thinking, you've only got a short time. Try and do that. Try and make that possible. Anything that I can think would make a better life, I'm trying to implement. And I advise for everyone to implement in whichever way they're trying to do things, in whatever career, whatever relationship, whatever life struggle. How can they change it? Why can't they change it? Why can't they do it? And doing that, and that was key. And a lot of it meant going against what society follows and does and all this stuff, because society is sort of bonkers most of the time. They all follow each other, even if it's leading down the wrong path. So I had to break away from a lot of that, look at lots of those rigid beliefs, and breaking away from so many of the ideas that society held so rigidly that were sort of detrimental to their own happiness. I had to break down and really look at it. And when you were looking at Greek and Roman philosophy and reading, you learn so much. You see, God, the things that they saw, the problems 4,000-5,000 years ago, the same problems today, are the exact same situations. Thousands and thousands of years later, the same problems, because humans follow the same patterns. So that was key.